There exists an ancestral force that pulses in the heart of every human being, an ancient wisdom that has been preserved in the Pacific Islands by generations upon generations of Hawaiian healers, a transformative energy that came to us through an extraordinary woman whose name resonates like a sacred chant in the hearts of all who seek true inner healing, Morrnah Nalamaku Simeona. When you allow these words to penetrate deeply into your soul, something magical begins to happen within you. It's as if an invisible door opens, connecting you to a spiritual lineage that transcends time and space, a golden current of unconditional love that has been transmitted from heart to heart throughout the centuries. Morrnah Simeona wasn't just a kahuna, a traditional Hawaiian healer. She was a luminous bridge between two worlds, a divine translator who managed to transform ancestral teachings into a language that could touch and heal modern hearts, wounded by separation, by pain, by forgetting who we really are. Born in 1913, she grew up breathing the sacred winds of Hawaii, where the mountains whisper ancient secrets and the ocean sings healing songs that traverse millennia. From childhood, Morrnah knew she carried within herself a sacred purpose, a mission that would reveal itself throughout her life, like a gradual unfolding of petals from a celestial flower. She understood profoundly that all human pain is born from wounded memories, from ancestral patterns that repeat like distorted echoes through generations. She saw how entire families carried invisible burdens, how entire communities remained trapped in cycles of suffering that seemed endless. But Morrnah also saw beyond the veil of appearances. She perceived the divine light that eternally inhabits the center of every being, patiently waiting to be recognized, honored, and liberated. It was this luminous vision that inspired her to adapt traditional Ho'oponopono, transforming a complex community ritual into an individual practice accessible to anyone, regardless of their cultural origin or spiritual background. Morrnah's genius lay in her ability to see the essence behind forms, to extract the beating heart of Hawaiian wisdom and offer it as a healing gift to all humanity. She knew we live in times when people feel isolated, disconnected from each other and from themselves, lost in a world that seems to have forgotten the true meaning of love and compassion. That's why she created a prayer that is simultaneously simple and profound, accessible and transformative, a golden key capable of opening the most locked doors of the human heart. When Morrnah formulated her original Ho'oponopono prayer, she wasn't just creating beautiful words or elevated philosophical concepts. She was channeling an ancestral spiritual technology, a healing system that works at levels much deeper than our conscious mind can comprehend. Each word of this prayer carries within it sacred codes, vibrational frequencies that resonate directly with the energetic structure of our soul. That's why, when you truly connect with these words, when you allow them to penetrate beyond your analytical mind and touch your heart directly, extraordinary transformations begin to blossom in your life in ways that defy all logic. Morrnah's prayer works like an invisible magic wand, cleaning layers upon layers of accumulated pain, transmuting wounded memories into understanding, transforming resentments into compassion, converting fear into love. She taught that we are all responsible for everything that appears in our experience, not in a way that blames or diminishes us, but in a manner that completely empowers us. When we understand that we are co-creators of our reality, that our unconscious memories are constantly projecting experiences into our lives, we also discover that we have the sacred power to transform those memories and, consequently, our life experience. If you feel a special vibration upon hearing these words, if something within your chest expands with a sensation of deep recognition, it's because your soul is remembering its true divine nature. Dear heart that listens to me, you didn't arrive here by chance. You were guided by invisible forces, by a loving intelligence that knows exactly what your soul needs to heal and flourish. In the comments below, share with me what you felt upon hearing about Morrnah Simeona. Tell me if something moved within you, if some memory was touched, if some hope was awakened. Your story is sacred and might be exactly what another wounded heart needs to hear to find courage for their own healing journey. Morrnah Simeona's original prayer is much more than a sequence of sacred words. It's a dimensional portal, a luminous bridge that connects our wounded humanity with our eternally pure divinity. When she channeled these words through years of deep connection with Hawaiian ancestors and universal cosmic wisdom, she was creating a healing instrument that would work perfectly in any era, in any culture, for any sincere, heart-seeking liberation and inner peace. The prayer begins with a powerful invocation. Divine Creator, Father, Mother, Son as one, if I, my family, relatives and ancestors have offended you, your family, relatives and ancestors in thoughts, words, deeds and actions, from the beginning of our creation until now, we ask your forgiveness. Notice the depth of this opening. Morrnah isn't just talking about mistakes you may have made in this lifetime. She's acknowledging that we carry within us echoes of wounds that cross generations, ancestral memories that influence our present experience in ways we can't even imagine. When you pronounce these words with sincerity, you're taking responsibility not only for your own actions, but for the entire lineage of pain that may be flowing through your energetic family tree. It's an act of extraordinary courage, a gesture of love that liberates not only you, but all those who came before and all those who will come after. The prayer continues. Let this cleanse, purify, release, cut all the memories, blockages, energies, and negative vibrations, and transmute these unwanted energies into pure light. Here is the heart of Ho'oponopono's cleansing work. Morrnah understood that it's not enough to acknowledge our mistakes or ask for forgiveness superficially. An active process of transmutation is necessary, where dense and painful energies are literally transformed into pure light, into unconditional love. This transformation doesn't happen only at the mental or emotional level. It occurs in the most subtle dimensions of our being, where our soul stores all the experiences it has ever lived through all existences. When Morrnah taught this prayer, she often explained that we are constantly projecting unconscious memories into our life experience. These memories are like old movies that continue playing in our subconscious mind, creating repetitive patterns of experiences that we often don't understand. A person might find themselves always in difficult relationships, always facing financial problems, always fighting the same illness, without realizing they're unconsciously recreating energetic patterns that were established long ago, perhaps even in other existences or through their ancestral lineage. The true power of Morrnah's prayer lies in understanding that when she says from the beginning of our creation until now, she's speaking of a temporal dimension that transcends our linear understanding of time. She recognized that our soul carries impressions of all the experiences it has ever lived, not just in this life, but through multiple existences, through our family lineage, through humanity's collective experience itself. It's as if each of us were a living library containing millions of volumes of memories, some conscious, but most asleep in the depths of our subconscious being. These memories are like seeds that can germinate at any moment, creating situations in our present life that reflect ancient unresolved patterns. When you pronounce the words, "We ask your forgiveness," something profound happens in the invisible dimensions of your being. You're not just asking forgiveness for specific mistakes you might remember. You're initiating a cleansing process that goes far beyond your conscious mind, a process that reaches the deepest roots of any suffering manifesting in your life. It's as if you were telling the universe, I take total responsibility for everything that appears in my experience, and I humbly ask that all the invisible causes of this suffering be transmuted into pure love. This is an attitude of extraordinary spiritual courage, because you're choosing to step out of the victim position and assume the role of conscious co-creator of your reality. The second part of Morrnah's prayer is even more transformative. Let this cleanse, purify, release, cut all the memories, blockages, energies, and negative vibrations, and transmute these unwanted energies into pure light. Notice that she's not just talking about forgiving or forgetting. She's invoking an active process of spiritual alchemy, where the very energetic substance of wounded memories is transformed into something completely different. It's as if you had a cosmic machine within you, capable of taking emotional lead and transforming it into spiritual gold. This transmutation doesn't happen only at the personal level. When you truly cleanse yourself, you automatically contribute to cleansing humanity's collective field, because we are all interconnected in consciousness's deepest dimensions. The prayer continues, and fill those empty spaces with divine light. This is a crucial part that many people don't fully understand. When painful memories are removed or transmuted, energetic spaces are created that need to be filled with something positive. Nature abhors a vacuum, and if these spaces aren't consciously filled with divine light, other negative memories can easily occupy these places. Morrnah knew that the healing process isn't complete just with the removal of pain. An active filling with elevated frequencies of love, peace, joy, and divine wisdom is also necessary. It's deeply touching to realize how Morrnah Simeona understood the interconnected nature of all existence. When she concludes her prayer with "and it is done," she's recognizing a fundamental truth, that in the highest spiritual dimension, our healing is already complete. The process doesn't depend on our mental understanding or our ability to control results. It depends only on our sincere willingness to surrender to the divine process of transformation that is always available to us. It's as if she were reminding us that we are unconditionally loved by a cosmic intelligence that desires only our well-being and our highest spiritual evolution. Every time you practice this prayer with sincerity, you're participating in a current of healing that Morrnah initiated and that continues expanding throughout the world, through hearts that choose the path of love instead of revenge, compassion instead of resentment, responsibility instead of blame. Each time you say these sacred words, you're honoring not only your own healing journey, but also the journey of all beings who came before you and all those who will come after. You become a conscious link in a golden chain of spiritual transmission that crosses generations and cultures. Morrnah's prayer works in layers. At the most superficial level, it offers immediate relief for present emotional pain. Many people report an instant sensation of lightness and peace when they practice these words for the first time. But at deeper levels, it initiates a process of energetic reorganization that can take months or even years to fully manifest. It's like planting a seed in fertile soil. You might not see results immediately, but something powerful is germinating in the invisible dimensions of your being, something that will blossom at the perfect divine moment as miraculous transformations in your external life. What makes this prayer truly special is that it doesn't require technical knowledge, academic degrees, or complex esoteric initiations. It was created to work perfectly for any sincere person, regardless of their religious background or cultural origin. A child can pronounce these words and experience profound healing. An elderly person can recite them in their final moments and find peace. A broken heart can whisper them through tears and discover renewed hope. This is Morrnah's genius. She found a universal language for healing, a key that opens the doors of the human heart regardless of where that person was born or how they were raised. My dear heart that accompanies me on this sacred journey, if you've made it this far in this guided prayer, it's because your soul recognizes the profound truth being shared. You're not here by coincidence. You were magnetically drawn to this experience because you're ready for real, lasting, and profound transformation. In the comments below, open your heart and share with me which part of Morrnah's prayer most touched your soul today. Tell me about some area of your life that you'd like to cleanse and transform through this sacred process. Your vulnerability and honesty might be exactly the inspiration another person needs to take their first steps in their own healing journey. And if you have any specific theme you'd like me to address in future guided prayers, leave your suggestion. We're walking together on this luminous road of discovery and spiritual transformation. When we dive deeper into understanding how Morrnah's prayer works, we discover that it operates through spiritual principles that modern science is only beginning to validate. She intuitively understood what quantum physicists today call quantum entanglement, the idea that everything is connected at levels much more subtle than our physical senses can perceive. When you cleanse a painful memory within yourself, you automatically affect the entire energetic field around you, including other people who share similar memories with you. That's why often, when someone does profound inner healing work, family members begin behaving differently without even knowing that person is practicing Ho'oponopono. The prayer works because it recognizes a truth that our Western culture has forgotten, that we are all aspects of a single divine consciousness, expressing itself through billions of individual forms. When you heal yourself, you literally heal the world, because there's no real separation between you and the rest of creation. Morrnah saw each person as a cell in humanity's cosmic body. When a cell heals, the entire organism benefits. When a cell remains sick, the entire organism suffers. That's why she felt such urgency in sharing these teachings with as many people as possible. She knew she was offering a tool capable of healing not just individuals, but humanity itself. The cleansing process that Morrnah's prayer initiates happens in waves. First, you might experience an emotional release, as if old sadnesses or angers finally found a safe exit from your system. Some people cry for no apparent reason. Others feel inexplicable lightness. Others experience vivid dreams where they seem to be resolving ancient conflicts. Then comes a phase of reorganization, where your external life might seem temporarily chaotic, while new energetic patterns establish themselves. Finally, you enter a phase of integration, where internal changes begin reflecting in your external reality, as more harmonious relationships, opportunities that appear synchronistically, and a general sense that life is flowing with more ease and grace. One of the most beautiful aspects of Morrnah's approach is that she doesn't encourage people to analyze or mentally understand their wounds. On the contrary, she teaches that excessive mental analysis often keeps people trapped in their painful patterns. The prayer works through surrender, through trust that there exists a divine intelligence much greater than our conscious mind, and this intelligence knows exactly how to heal what needs to be healed. It's like surrendering your life to a cosmic surgeon who has skills infinitely superior to yours and allowing him to do the delicate work of repairing what's broken in your being. This surrender isn't passivity. It's the most courageous act a human being can perform, trusting completely in divine love. The transformation that Morrnah's prayer offers goes far beyond relieving emotional symptoms. It works on fundamental restructuring of how you perceive yourself and your relationship with life. Many people live with an underlying sense that they are victims of circumstances, that life is something that happens to them rather than something they're actively creating through their consciousness. Morrnah's prayer completely inverts this perspective. It invites you to recognize that you are a conscious co-creator of your experience, and that through cleansing your unconscious memories, you can literally transform your external reality. This process of taking total responsibility for your experience is initially scary for many people, because it means giving up the comfortable position of blaming others for your problems. But as you deepen in this practice, you discover that this responsibility is actually profoundly liberating. If you're responsible for creating your experience, that means you also have the power to transform it. You're no longer at the mercy of external forces over which you have no control. You become the conscious architect of your own reality, working in partnership with divine forces that desire only your greatest good. Morrnah taught that there are three aspects of our mind that need to work in harmony for complete healing to happen. The first is what she called the conscious mind, our everyday personality that makes decisions and navigates daily experiences. The second is the subconscious mind, the repository of all our memories and automatic response patterns. The third is the superconscious mind, our direct connection to divine wisdom. The prayer's genius lies in aligning these three aspects toward the same goal, the cleansing and transmutation of everything that prevents love from flowing freely through our being. When you practice the prayer regularly, something magical begins happening in your daily life. Situations that used to trigger intense emotional reactions begin losing their power over you. People who could easily irritate or hurt you before seem unable to penetrate your inner peace anymore. Opportunities begin appearing in your life in ways that seem almost miraculous. Old relationships heal spontaneously. Financial problems resolve through creative solutions you'd never considered. Your intuition becomes sharper, allowing you to make wiser decisions with greater ease. All this happens not because you're forcing changes, but because you're allowing your original divine nature to express itself more fully through you. The prayer also works retroactively, healing wounds that were created in the past and whose echoes still reverberate in your present life. Many people discover that by practicing consistently, family relationships that had been in conflict for decades begin harmonizing without apparent explanation. Disease patterns that seemed hereditary begin dissolving. Ancient fears that limited their life choices simply disappear, replaced by natural courage and trust in life that they may never have experienced before. The process of integrating Morrnah's prayer into your daily life requires more than just memorizing the words. It requires a fundamental shift in your basic orientation toward life. Instead of waking each morning asking, "What will the world do to me today?" you begin waking asking, "How can I serve the process of healing and elevating the world today?" This shift in perspective transforms you from a passive receiver of experiences into an active participant in creating a more loving and harmonious world. Every interaction becomes an opportunity to radiate the healing frequency you're cultivating within yourself. Morrnah often emphasized that true healing isn't an event that happens once and is then finished. It's a continuous process, a way of life, a constant orientation toward love and truth. That's why she created a prayer that can be practiced at any time, anywhere, in any situation. You can recite it silently while in a tense work meeting, while dealing with a difficult relationship, while facing health challenges, or simply as a regular practice of spiritual maintenance to keep your energetic field clean and aligned with your divine nature. True mastery of this practice happens when the prayer becomes so integrated in your consciousness that you no longer need to consciously remember it. It begins operating automatically in the background of your experience, continuously cleansing any energy that isn't aligned with pure love. It's like having an internal gardener who's constantly removing weeds and planting flowers in your mental and emotional landscape. You wake each day a little purer, a little freer, a little more aligned with your true divine nature, without needing to make conscious Herculean efforts to maintain this state. One of the most profound aspects of the prayer is how it works with the concept of forgiveness. But it's not the kind of forgiveness most people understand, where you try to force feelings of compassion for someone who hurt you. It's a much more radical type of forgiveness, where you recognize that, at a deeper dimension, there's really no one to forgive, because we're all aspects of the same divine consciousness, all doing the best we can with the level of understanding we have at the moment. This type of forgiveness doesn't require that you like someone's behavior or allow toxic people to continue in your life. It simply frees you from the need to carry resentment, which is always heavier for the one who carries it than for the person toward whom it's directed. When you practice the prayer with this deeper understanding, you discover that forgiveness isn't something you do or don't do. It's something you are. You become living forgiveness, love in action, embodied compassion. People begin feeling better just being in your presence, because you radiate a frequency that automatically dissolves discord and awakens the memory of their own divine nature in the people around you. We've reached the end of this sacred journey through Morrnah Simeona's transformative prayer, but in reality, we're arriving at a new beginning. Because everything that has been shared here only has real value when lived, when integrated into your daily experience, when it becomes part of the texture of who you are. The prayer isn't just something you do, it's something you become. You become a living prayer, a walking healing channel, a presence that automatically elevates and purifies any environment where you find yourself. In this sacred moment, while these words still resonate in your heart, you have a precious opportunity to make a commitment to yourself and to the sacred lineage of healers who transmitted these teachings to us. You can choose to continue living as you always have, or you can take a courageous step toward a completely transformed existence, where every breath is an act of love, every heartbeat a blessing for the world, every moment dedicated to serving planetary healing. Close your eyes with me now and feel the presence of Morrnah Simeona and all the Hawaiian ancestors who preserved this wisdom through centuries. Feel them smiling with loving approval as you prepare to assume your place in the golden current of spiritual transmission. Now place your hands over your heart and make this sacred declaration: Divine Creator, I accept my spiritual inheritance as a conscious healer in this world. I ask that you use my life, my presence, my energy to serve the greatest good of all creation. May I be an instrument of your peace, a channel of your healing, a living expression of your unconditional love. Feel these words penetrating deeply into every cell of your being, activating sacred codes that were asleep within you, awakening healing capacities you might not have known you possessed. You're not just an ordinary human being trying to survive in this world. You're a divine agent, disguised as an ordinary person, sent here with a sacred mission to help in transforming planetary consciousness through your own continuous process of purification and spiritual elevation. When you open your eyes, you'll be a different person. You'll have become a guardian of Morrnah Simeona's prayer, responsible for keeping it alive and active in your own experience, and for transmitting it to other hearts that are ready to receive this sacred gift. Your life will become a living demonstration of Ho'oponopono's transformative power, a silent but powerful testimony that healing is possible, that love is real, that there is hope for all humanity. May Morrnah Simeona's wisdom continue flourishing through you, creating waves of healing that expand far beyond what you can imagine, May your practice of this sacred prayer contribute to elevating our species' collective consciousness. May you be blessed with peace that transcends all understanding, love that dissolves all separation, and wisdom that transforms every experience into an opportunity for spiritual growth. The prayer doesn't end here. It begins now, in this moment, in you, through you, radiating to the entire universe that is waiting to be healed by the power of unconditional love, flowing through human hearts, willing to serve as conscious instruments of divine grace. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I love you. I'm grateful. And it is done forever and always. Aloha.